All right, the Houston Texans didn't see this one coming. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but this channel fully dedicated to teams that just kind of get overlooked by the national media. And we've been talking about the Texans for a
Mhm.
while, and this is something that you can be excited about if you're a Texans fan, because here's the news. I'll just pull it right up, Craig, and we've got two
Do it.
things for you. But the first thing, let's talk about it, is you don't know Stephon Diggs' future. So it's like, I kind of love that idea of Stephon Diggs and last year what he could do. But Davante Adams just straight up released. So now you can kind of keep going with this thing you were trying last year with, like, hey, we need a veteran, like, star wide receiver to
Yep.
pair with our young quarterback. And we can afford it because he's still on his rookie deal. So Craig, when you see Davante Adams straight up released, I know he's older, does it excite you, or is it something that the Texans should do? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, my thoughts on this are why not? Like
That's right.
here's one thing that Davante Adams has been more than anybody else is not injured. How about that one?
Yeah.
Right? Like I understand that he's getting older and I understand he'll have a tweak here and there. You know, he had a phantom injury, but that was as he was about to be released or about to be traded. He was injured. That's air quotes for a couple weeks
Yep.
with the Raiders before he went to the Jets. That's all understood well and good. But for the most part, he's been a guy that's been reliable to be on the field. And it's interesting to me when I look at a guy like Devontae Williams, the question I'd have is what's his price tag, right? Because if he's coming out here being like, hey, I'm still an elite wide receiver, that's not true. That's not going to be your best wide receiver. Nico Collins is going to be your best wide receiver. So I think if you can pay Davante Adams accordingly, that's a good idea. But when you have two guys in the wide receiver room coming off season-ending injuries, and let's hope Tank Dells is just a season ender and not a multi-season ender, you need to bring in someone that can be elite for a year or two as a stopgap until these guys get back or till you can develop someone through the draft.
Yeah, and we fully, we'll go back to that in just a second. We fully
Sure.
understand that the Texans need interior offensive line help. And we looked at this before, was there's options out there. There's a 1 year options, some older guys coming off injury. Like, there's things you can do interior offensive line wise, but I do
Yep.
think we're all still like, hey, you have a great quarterback that needs weapons, and
Yeah.
you can't let this window pass you where he's on his rookie deal and then try to find, it's like, take some swings. And I'm fully with you. You've got now wide receivers that you went into last year with this Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs thing that was just like, this is going to work. And then they get injured and it doesn't.
Yeah.
So let's go with a veteran guy. I'm okay with that if he doesn't have an injury history, which Davante Adams doesn't. So this
No.
is a this this is a no-brainer. It's like, cool. Don't have to trade for him. Let's just sign him 1 year. He'll love it because he gets a great quarterback. He has not
Yep.
had good quarterback play. And he's not going to say that because it's his buddy Aaron Rodgers and he's not going to say it. But it's like, dude, you just haven't had a good quarterback in a while. So let us come
even
have
when
some
he
fun.
didn't even when he didn't have a great quarterback. Like, I mean, let's talk about this. These are some stats, right? Even when he didn't have a great quarterback, let's go. This is the Derek Carr
Jeez.
here for the Raiders, right? 1,500 yards. Now that was his buddy, right? They played together at Fresno, I want to say. And
Yeah.
so that was his buddy. Like they had it, and he only completed 60% of the passes to him, 59.5. That's probably more on Derek Carr than anybody else. But you look at him in this last 3 years. I mean, the guy's 2 years removed from 1,500 yards. He still has had 1,000-yard season or north of 1,000-yard season every year since 2017. That was the last time he didn't. All right. That was when he was hurt. And then he put a string together of 5 years right here. That is pretty remarkable, wouldn't you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
1,300, almost 13 or 1,400, 1,300, 1,500, 1,600, 1,500. And even last year, while missing multiple games, while playing half of those games with either Aiden O'Connell or, Gardner Minshew as his
Yeah.
quarterback, he still found a way to get 8 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards receiving. Like, the dude, he still has it, right?
It's and he, And if you look here, the Houston Texans have all their picks except for one, a 6 rounder, I guess. So
Good. That's the one that I'd want to miss. Maybe a seventh, but a
yeah,
sixth
but
is
so you're
fine.
you're good there. And then if you look, they're in this 25 slot, which
Yep.
Matthew Golden, if his um combine was crazy,
Yeah, it was.
awesome. So there's things there. You can still get offensive line help. You're just not. It's just a bonus add to add him. And then we looked at it. I hate to jump here so quickly, but I will. Is like we looked at some of these interior offensive linemen. So
Yeah.
again, we won't go through all these, but these are real affordable offensive linemen that are out there that you can kind of see here. So there there's some names. So our point is you have money to fix that, and you can still get Davante Adams, and you can still draft. So you're
Yep.
in a great spot, I guess. All said and done, even with the
Yeah, you're
injuries.
Yeah, you're not in a terrible spot. Your salary cap isn't in a great spot. Let's be
Mm.
honest. You have one of the least amount in the league. So while I would love to say the Davante Adams, let's make it happen, it's gonna have to be kind of an interesting thing, and you're gonna have to move some money around, right? You're gonna have to move some money around in order to get to it. Um, that's funny that you already have that pulled up. But anyways, and it isn't in a good spot, but you can restructure a couple of deals. You can restructure Laramie Tunsil. You could restructure Daniel Hunter if he wants to stay there for a while. It was a good year one ride, right?
Yeah.
I think it was at least. There are some guys that you can kind of restructure and find a way. You can get out from under Danico Autry. That's going to save you $6 million if you want to do that. So those are all feasible things that you can do
That
for
but
sure.
this is so much better than trading for Davante Adams. It just goes to show, like, this is why these guys get released, is because teams are just like, I can't give you draft picks. I just can't right
Yeah,
now. And unless you're
they're so valuable.
yeah, unless you're yeah, like the Debo thing, like see him go for a fifth, you're like, well, that seems it's like, no, it's just because it's too valuable to have a fourth go, or it's crazy. That's what in
It
this
is crazy,
and
and
that's
and
what
I think
drives the
go ahead.
NFL to me is
Yeah,
like these picks matter. So then it drives the trades really matter. Then of course
mhm.
the draft matters. So it's what is great about the NFL.
It is what's great about the NFL, and it also allows, I mean, it allows for player movement, which is more exciting for the
Yep.
fan, right? We
Yep.
love seeing changes. We love seeing moves. And don't get me wrong, I love, like if you're a Texans fan, you don't ever want to see a move or a change to CJ Stroud, to Nico Collins. Like you want those guys to be there for the next decade. But other than that, you love seeing changes. You love seeing
Love
changes.
it.
It's fun to watch. And it's fun to see like how does a GM balance those draft picks with talent acquisition. And I get what you're saying, Chris. I am just not of the mindset of trade for a guy for the right to pay him $30 million.
Yeah.
Nope,
No, you
not going to do
can't
it.
do it.
And that's why you see these guys go for almost nothing, because they're trying to get out of it. And the whole guarantees, the way that there's dead money and things like that, like teams just don't want to move on because both teams are strapped with the salary. And that's not how it works in other leagues. In the NBA, the salary just transfers over. It's gone. It's off your books. Right? See ya. It's not the way it works in the NFL. So there's got to be all this finagling and moving around.
So let us know your thoughts. Let us know if this is somebody you want, yes or no, in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.
See ya.